This is a Spanish tortilla, but this is also a Spanish tortilla, and this also. There's almost as many variations as Spanish grandmas. If you ever heard a Spaniard saying, this is the perfect recipe of tortilla, they were lying to you, because there's actually a lot of variations. And I actually have a video that it literally says, this is the perfect recipe of tortilla. The title says that. But I was lying. You probably already know that in Spain we have these two big fights regarding tortilla de patatas. One is if it should have onion or not, and the other one is if it should be runny or not. But those are only a little bit of the real deal with tortilla de patatas. It's actually the process and how you treat the product what's gonna define the style of your tortilla. That's why in this video we're using exactly the same ingredients and the same amount, but we're gonna achieve complete different results. The goal here is for you to understand and decide which one is your favorite, but at the end of the video I will tell you which one I would personally serve at a dinner party. Okay, so let's just go with the first style of tortilla, which I would say is the one that you are gonna find if you Google Spanish omelette or Spanish tortilla de patatas. Is the most common one. And the cut in this case is gonna be like a Spanish grandma. From the hand, we're not gonna use a table here, like this, and even pieces. And that's gonna be actually part of the style of the tortilla. That has some pieces of the potato that are a little bit overcooked, some others that are a little bit more creamy, and it's already gonna define our tortilla. The same, grandmother style, but with the onion. And yes, in this case, I'm adding onion. It's gonna give humidity, it's gonna be also a little sweet touch, and if you're making this style of tortilla, you wanna add a little bit of onion because otherwise everything in the pan from cold. And here I'm gonna add extra virgin olive oil, but that's also another thing that some people would say, nah, no way, I would rather use sunflower because olive oil already gives a flavor. In my case, I like that flavor. It's a Arbequina style, so it's not so intense, and it's perfect, I think, for this style of cooking. And by the way, if someone is wondering, I will explain that maybe in another video, but extra virgin olive oil is the best oil for frying. 400 grams more or less. We are not looking for a deep frying. And now we're bringing this to the fire. In this case, we are gonna confit our potatoes. So low heat, I'm already gonna put a big amount of salt, and I'm gonna cover for the first 5 to 10 minutes more or less, but always low heat. Once we see a little bit of temperature here, we can maybe try to move everything to integrate the onion and the salt. Okay, after around, this is, I don't know, 6-7 minutes, you can see there's way more liquid. The potatoes and the onion released already a little bit of their water. It already smells a lot like a traditional style Spanish tortilla. Olive oil, potato and onion all together confitting. That's really the smell of a Spanish bar. It has been already around 25 minutes. The potato is indeed already cooked, but you gotta try, okay? In my case, it was 25 minutes. Sometimes it takes longer depending on the age of the potato and a lot of things. So just try it before just following a recipe. Now I'm gonna light it up a little bit, so we get a little bit of frying now, and also to get rid of the water, because right now what I have here is a lot of oil with also a big amount of water. I want that water to be out so I can reuse the oil for the next tortilla. Here we are not afraid of a little bit of Maillard reactions. It's actually nice. It gives flavor to the whole thing, and we like that. But remember to move it, because look, it's already on the edge. You can see also how the potato is a little bit falling apart. It's breaking a little bit. That's okay. And just be careful, don't make puree, but it's okay if it breaks a little bit. Now that we have the potato with a little bit of color, already fried, already perfectly cooked, I'm gonna use this method that is not the safest, but is what it is, to get rid of most of the oil. Because now we're also gonna strain it properly. If you put it all in, it would be better. That's the potato ready for the first tortilla, but the flavor already of confitting potatoes in olive oil, you can just imagine, you know, this is already really delicious. After cooking, we got 900 grams. We didn't lose so much grams, and now we're gonna mix it with 8 eggs. Then I'm gonna crack and whisk in a different bowl. I already salted the potatoes, but I'm also gonna salt the eggs, obviously. And now I'm gonna whisk it. We drop the egg in the potatoes. We mix it well with this movement so we don't break so much the potato. We don't want that in this case. And then for this tortilla, we're also gonna let this chill. After 10 minutes or 15 minutes chilling, the texture of the egg already changed quite a lot, right? And now it's the tricky moment. We're gonna get a pan. You can use stainless steel, and actually when there was no non-stick, people would use directly a stainless steel pan and it's completely fine. But I think I like it more like this. You have a little bit more control. First of all, it needs to be properly preheated. Second of all, you need to prepare a plate for the twisting, for the flipping. But in my case, I have a problem because this is the only plate I would never recommend. If it's exactly the same diameter as the pan, this movement is gonna be dangerous. So either a bigger one or a smaller one that we don't have. My partner, which is pretty clever, suggests me to do it with a cutting board. And we're gonna give it a try. Let's see how it goes. The pan doesn't have to be high heat, but it needs to be properly preheated. So leave it 5 minutes, 5 to 10 maybe, even while you're doing the rest of the things. If you can already preheat it, maybe better, okay? Little bit of oil all over. And I'm already gonna use this oil to make the board a little bit oily, so it helps me slide the tortilla back in. And I think this is already hot enough. And in this case of tortilla, we're looking to fully cook it. Not a bad idea to even move it a little bit now. We're just gonna shape it. We're gonna lower the heat because we're gonna leave it around 4 to 5 minutes each side. We have time to shape it a little bit every once and then because we want a beautifully rounded and big ass tortilla. We're gonna just place it like this. And now the movement that I see a lot of times that leads into accidents is when you try to do this and you put all the weight of the tortilla into the wrist. It could lead into problems. So we go like this. So I have all my arm standing the tortilla and we just go with that movement. And here we go. I would never want the egg to get color like in this case. In this style of traditional tortilla, we actually want that. A little bit extra oil and then right back in. We just now fix the shape. We try to put this back in, lower the heat, and another, I think in this case with 3 minutes is gonna be enough. For this, we are now gonna risk, but at least we have it already in the plate. We directly, and this is our first tortilla. It's firm, it's big, it's fully cooked, and it's ready to stand in your bar for the whole morning, cutting a little bit to put to the clients as a pincho. That's also how you cut it for a party or something. This is a tortilla that is completely firm, but it still preserves some juiciness inside, also because of the onion. And if properly made, it's also delicious. As you can see, you know, it's a little bit more rustic. You can see the big pieces of potato. You can still see a little bit of juiciness inside. Let's go now to the next tortilla where we're gonna take the ratio and the technique onto a next level. Second style, for this tortilla, we're actually looking for more even pieces. So I'm gonna cut this in half and the halves also in quarters. And here I'm looking for more or less something like this. I would say it's like 4, 5, I have no idea, but you see what I mean. And we do want these pieces to be a little bit all more even. If I had a mandolin, I would probably use it, but I don't. So I'm just gonna take my time to try to get even pieces. Once I have them all pretty evenly cut with this size, I'm gonna bring them back to the water so we get rid a little bit of the excess of starch. By the way, I haven't said this, but I'm using the same style of potato, the one I could find here in Austria, and let's see how it behaves. But the potato is also pretty important. Different varieties of potatoes will give complete different results once cooked. So with this one that is called Belmonda, we're gonna find out what happens. Now we're gonna strain them. If I had a clean towel, I would actually fold everything in a clean towel and dry them properly, but it's not the case. So I'm just gonna try to get rid of as much water as I can. By the way, I have already here some caramelized onion that I've been cooking for the last hour at low heat. In the first tortilla, we made the onion all together, the easy way, the traditional southern grandmother way. But in this case, we are already a little bit chefy style, a little bit restaurant. And that's why we're using caramelized onion that I just did with only olive oil and salt for a long time, around 1 hour, until it's just caramelized and beautiful like this one. Now, in the case of the second tortilla, for the frying, we're also gonna do it a little bit different. We're gonna start from hot oil. Again, extra virgin olive oil, but we're gonna warm it up in advance. 500 grams of oil. By the way, guys, you see how much olive oil I'm using? I'm already bankrupt, so please at least subscribe, a little like. It's free for you and it would help me a lot. Now we're gonna throw one potato to see if it's indeed hot. So we go all in with our potatoes. In the first frying, we were looking for low confit, but this time we're already looking for a little bit more temperature, a little bit more of a normal frying. The potato is already big enough, so it's gonna still be juicy or kind of confit inside, but we're looking for a little bit more color, a little bit more fire. This has been frying now for around 16-17 minutes and it's already good to go. What we're gonna do here, I'm gonna get rid of as much oil as I can, but with this technique, using a spoon. Well, this method would have been good, but I just realized that I want to measure it, so I'm actually gonna strain it completely. Now with the same amount of potato, this time already we got 660 grams. It's already a little bit less and we're gonna use the same amount of egg, and that's one of the first things that is gonna make a difference. The ratio egg and potato is gonna be, in this case, a little bit more egg. But anyway, this is going back to the pan to get a nice caramelization all over with the potatoes. That's why you get rid of most of the oil, back to the pan, high heat, and I'm already gonna put here the onion, around 100 grams of onion. And now we're gonna give this a quick stir fry. We're gonna force this to all break, to all get toasted, and that's already gonna be a complete different tortilla. While we have this, getting that last caramelization, we're gonna use 7 eggs and 1 egg yolk. Some salt in the eggs, always. And now, with this second tortilla is where the tricky part comes, regarding salmonella and regarding a lot of people on the internet that are really concerned about it, and I completely understand. I have my eggs room temperature, okay? This thing is important because we're gonna get rid of the salmonella right now, where we're aiming for a runny inside. It's important that the eggs are room temperature. Now this has also a little bit of fat, but in this style of tortilla, we're also looking for that fat to be in our tortilla. This is not a healthy meal, I recognize it. This is directly going into the egg, as hot as it is. Now we're gonna work on the egg a little bit. As you can see, in this case, we are kinda looking for a mashed potato matrix. The egg is right now getting really a good amount of temperature. You can probably see it also in the steam. And now we are pasteurizing the eggs. In the case of this tortilla, the tortilla is being cooked right now in the bowl. And the final texture inside is gonna be the texture that you get right now in the bowl after working a little bit with it. The starch is also making an emulsion. And now we're also, of course, gonna let it sit for around 10 minutes, okay? After a chill, it was a little bit more than 10 minutes. This already looks like a fully cooked tortilla. I would like to add another egg. What do I do, guys? So if you're concerned about salmonella and all this thing, this was the right way to do it. But I trust my egg suppliers, and I also trust my skills and my knowledge, and I know that there's not gonna be a problem if I add an extra egg now and I eat the tortilla right away. The reason I'm adding an extra egg is because the potato in this case absorbs too much of the humidity, and I do want this to be a little bit more runny, so instead of 7 eggs and 1 egg yolk, 8 eggs and 1 egg yolk. This style of tortilla would actually be a little bit like some really nice scrambled eggs, like really runny scrambled eggs, you know, and it's ready. We're gonna sear it extremely fast. We're gonna put high heat, we're gonna do 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds another side, and the tortilla is ready. A little bit of oil. Now in this case, I recommend you to preheat properly, most likely the edges of the pan, because that's what's gonna close our tortilla, and if they are not properly heated, your tortilla is gonna look open on the sides, and I really actually hate that. All our tortilla in, just like this, we don't move it so much, and we already, with this move, start to close it, you see? It's already halfway closed. And nothing like seconds, 20, 30 seconds, let's twist it. Now we can already lower the heat and we just go our tortilla in. Oh fuck. Well, I fucked it up a little bit. This is an example. You should add enough oil to let it slide back. But no problem, we're gonna save this, okay? Don't lose the spirit. We can twist it one more time. A good amount of oil, because you want it to slide properly. Okay, we fix the shape a little and we go. Back. And we slide it back in. Also the pan is not the best one because it's too high. Okay, it's fine. Now we got it. Okay, here we have the second tortilla. A little bit more runny and juicy, but still holding itself pretty good. Fully cooked, it doesn't look like it, but it's actually safe to eat. And the technique makes the whole taste a little bit more high level. This one is a really good option. What's inside is an emulsion of all the things that we just did. The caramelized onion, of course, gives a super nice sweet taste that makes the whole bite more delicious. And I would say this option is pretty solid. But we're not done yet. We can still make it a little bit more extreme. Let's go with the third style of tortilla, and my personal favorite, but it has a lot of enemies. Cut it in half and the half in quarters. But this time we're gonna try to make it way more thin. Again, if I had a mandolin, I would definitely use a mandolin for this one. Let's try to make it as thin as possible with the knife. Something like 1-2 millimeters more or less. And again, okay, we also put them back in water to get rid of the excess of starch that could have just gone out because of the cutting. Now for this third tortilla, we're gonna bring the ratio potato and egg to the next level. And for that, we're gonna already take out part of the water of the potato even before frying. Look, so first of course, you strain it properly. And what I'm gonna be doing now is adding already a good teaspoon of salt to the potatoes. The salt is already gonna release part of the water, and this way we're gonna achieve a crunchier result. After 10 minutes, look how much water it already released. That's exactly what we're looking for. And now again, as the previous one, we're gonna strain it. For the frying, again, we're also gonna warm up the oil, and this time we're gonna use even a little bit more. For this last tortilla, we do want a deep fry. Of course, remember, this oil, we're gonna be able to reuse it at least 5-6 times. So it's actually not so expensive, but still subscribe, right? Okay, now in this case, we want it deep fry, pretty high heat. We're gonna warm this up properly. And then we're also gonna add our potatoes in 3 times, so we don't lower the temperature of the oil too fast. Now we're just gonna deep fry this at high heat for around 15-17 minutes, depending on how the potato behaves. In this case, we're gonna use 7 eggs and 1 egg yolk. We're not gonna use a whisk, we're gonna use a spoon. I don't want to add too much air, because we are all the time touching the bottom of the bowl with the spoon. And then we're gonna try to keep it as juicy as possible, but we do want to whisk properly. We're just trying to move it without breaking it so much. In this case, it's not a puree what we're looking for. The potatoes are ready, so now we're gonna strain it. In this case, we do want to get rid of almost all the oil. And directly it goes into the egg. Remember, in this case, we're not using any salt yet. In this case, we got 430 grams of fried potatoes. As you see, in the first one, we almost didn't lose any water. In the second one, we already lost a little bit more. And in this one, we're losing as much as possible. It's always almost the same amount of egg. It's the amount of egg versus the amount of fried potato. What is changing? Mix it well. This tortilla is gonna be way smaller, and it's gonna actually be more expensive. So this is, in my opinion, the gourmet version of a tortilla that at the same time has so many haters. Do it at your own risk. We're this time gonna add enough oil. And in this case, the searing, try to not cook it at all. Sear it as fast as possible and leave it super liquid. And right before put it into the pan is when you're supposed to salt the mixture. Now, as usual, a little bit of oil in the pan that of course is already preheated enough. Our tortilla in. We're also gonna try to close it a little bit, but that's already enough. And now, let's see if I do this in a more clever way, I think. Whoa! Okay, no problem, we saved it. For this tortilla, it is important now that we bring the pan back to the fire and we preheat it again. Let it recover the heat, because we want a quick and efficient sear. You can take a little bit of egg and see. Yeah, I think now it's good. And so now, back in. That was pretty good. And for this tortilla, it's actually pretty common to twist it more than one time to fix the shape. A little bit more oil, one more time. And a little bit more. Warm it up again properly, on the sides most likely to close it. And please, let it slide. Perfect.
Oh, it's getting a little bit dark.
What? Yeah, more than it should, but it's all good. Okay, and this is enough cooking for this style of tortilla. And here we have the last style of Spanish tortilla that we're making today. As I said, with the same ingredients, with the same quantities, but this is already gonna look really different inside. This is how it looks. My favorite style of Spanish tortilla. I decided not to add any onion, because in this tortilla, which in my opinion is the more premium and the more gourmet version of a humble Spanish tortilla, only the combination of a runny egg together with a really nice fried potato is what's supposed to play a game in our palatas. If we add onion here, I'm pretty sure it would be amazing, but it would also become the main character of the bite. And in this case, what we're gonna have here is just a full party of what I think is one of the best combinations of ingredients, which is egg and potato. Absolutely delicious. For the traditional one, as you can see, it's pretty firm and it's ready to stand on a bar for the whole morning and not being a problem. For the second option, we have a texture inside that reminds you of a mashed potato, like a puree, and the sweetness is actually amazing. But the real star of the show, in my opinion, is the third one, a little bit Galician Betanzos style, where the potato and the egg together taste a little bit like a saballón. Pretty intense, but also, in my opinion, a masterpiece of gastronomy that I also love a lot. Regarding which one would I serve at a dinner party, it would probably be the second option, as the possibilities of everybody liking it are bigger than the other two. But let me tell you something, once you try the Betanzos style, there's no way back. Remember that. Now, let me know in the comments which one do you think you're gonna like better of the three options, and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.